I'm Doc. That's me. I'm in front of AKAI headquarters in Tokyo, Japan. I'm here to pick up an MPC4000 from this guy, Nakamura-san, head of tech and product management. The year, 2002. I booked the flight 3 days in advance. Want to make sure I'm going to be there for the meeting and in time. I plan to get 3 MPC4000s. The yen is down, I'll get a third off of each one. This is about 11 months after 9/11. The flight is empty. And it's 15 hours before I land. Yeah, I know. Here, I go to the studio. Gotta meet DJ Hazame. That's Hazame on the right, his engineers on the left. Got some tracks for his artists. They're approved, we're good. DJ Hazame invites me to his club, Club Harlem, best club in Tokyo. You know I'm going. At the club, I'm taking pictures. Yeah, I know. The drinks work. I'm making friends. The next day, I make the deal. It works. I get the MPCs, and they give me some cups and some AKAI t-shirts. Awesome. Worth the trip. Now, I saw this MPC in his office. This is an MPC4000, but a special one made for the company. A few years ago, AKAI Professional's parent company was going bankrupt, so they sold the company. Now they got some real problems coming up. The first problem, Roland will introduce the MV8000 within 5 months. It will become a major hit. It does everything. It records, you can master, you can mix, you can add vocals, it's got synthesizers in it. It has everything a bedroom producer needs to make a dope track. The new company that bought AKAI is in trouble already. James Ting has a problem with Singer Corporation and with his own company. He has to change it back to AKAI, then he'll need to sell it. Before he does that though, he's going to rip off about $1 billion from the company that is owed. He's in real trouble, he'll be arrested, but AKAI will be sold. And this is our brand new MPC4000. As you can see here, under the power button, we have the Q-Link section, where those 4 knobs are 1, 2, 3, and 4 Q-Link. Under there, we have 2 faders for 5 and 6. Next to that, the Q-Links, we have note repeat, erase, 16 levels, full level, pad assign, and Q-Link sequence. Now above that, we have A, B, C, D, E, F for our pad banks. And below that, we have our pads, the classic MPC pads. Now above on the top, on the right-hand side, we have our MPC logo. Below that, we have the volume and the record gain. Next to that is a switch for gain, either high or low. Below here, we have 15 buttons that are marked for our different modes. Now next to that, we have our data entry section, the blue buttons. The white buttons on one side is for plus and minus, the other button is for enter. Now below there, we have our data wheel, our jog wheel. And that wheel, we can turn and move around. Plus, there are cursors around the wheel for up, down, left, and right. And under that, we have our transport section. Now on the front of our MPC4000, we have a USB input right there. As you can see, for your hard drive, we also have a phone jack and a volume for the phone jack. On the right-hand side, you can install a CD-ROM drive. You can save data to your drive and back up whatever you're doing. Now looking on the back of our MPC, we see we have a connection now for a DJ and turntables. You'll see there the main out, we have XLR, and we also have 1/4 inch for left and right. On in, we have XLR combo for XLR and 1/4 inch. We also have phono input as well for record in. There's also a grounding post right there. Below that, we have our MIDI input. We have a MIDI output. So we got 2 MIDI ins and 4 MIDI outs. Now across from that, we have 2 foot switch inputs for foot switches or foot pedals. Next, we have a SEMPTI in and a SEMPTI out. Next to that, we have digital input in and out. And next to that, we can send out a word clock as well. And of course, on the very end there on the right, we've got our power input. Now, if you want to install the 8 outs on your MPC4000, it's pretty simple, just like it is right here on the MPC2000 XL. Just put it in the rack and just stand it up. Now, you can buy the IB48P at, I think it's at MPC Stuff. It'll also have the instructions on how to install it. The cost could be $335. This next video is on how to use Q-Link editing on the MPC4000. It's from our entire instructional video on how to use the MPC4000.
I'll play the sequence. We got a beat, we got our harpsichord sound, and now we're going to add a little effect to it using our Q-Link section. First, I'm going to hit setup. Now here in setup, we've got to have our cursor right here on multi. We're using multi 1. Now here also you can see each one of these knobs corresponds to 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the two faders, 5 and 6, are right here. I'll move them up and you can see them move right there. That's cool. Now below multi we have this Q-Link 1 section. The first part here is called part. We can affect all the parts, that means everything for all the parts, or just one, or part 2, or part 3, or 4, and so on. Now below that part we have assign. Now here we can actually assign a parameter like amplitude, which means volume. We can pan it back and forth. We can change the pitch. We can also change the LFO rate of 1, LFO 1, 2, 3, phase, the biphase. We can change everything. Look at these parameters. This is amazing. It's a great machine. You can change so many different parameters in our assign. Back to off. Now below that we have type. We can replace or offset. This has to do with the way we turn our knob. Read more in your manual to understand this properly. Now here we have a range. We can select a range from -100 to a +100. That means we can take this knob and bring it down here to the bottom here like this, and we're going to be at, wow, -100 from where we were before, or +100 from where we were before. So you have to make sure you understand where you are in your sequence, and in that particular sound, how far you want to actually affect the range of that sound. Below here we have control. Now as of the date of us doing this tape, control has yet to be assigned a particular parameter by AKAI. We suggest you go to the website or get a new manual, if they have a new manual out on it, and check it out. For this video we're using 1.4. That's the operation we're using. The system operation. Well, the system, well, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Next, we have MIDI right below here, which is MIDI 1, A. Now we have to go up here to part. If you turn part, you'll see this changes. 2, 3, see that? It's changing. As we change the part, we can change the MIDI channel. If you have a MIDI channel assigned here to a particular instrument, you can change the effect to that instrument. It's really cool. And the same thing happens also here for the fader. The only difference here is there's a fader here and a knob here. Well, now we're going to try and affect the sound, probably the harpsichord sound, and do something to it. We're going to set a part first, which is part 1. We're going to assign a parameter. We're going to use pitch. And then I want to assign a range. I don't want to get to go all the way down and go really low, and I want to get a real short range. I want to use like -5. I'm going to turn my jog wheel to -5, and then I'm going to go to +5. So I want to get a short range, not too big a range, so I can change this pitch within this particular range. Next I go back to main screen. Yeah. And I want to make sure what track I want to record this to. I want to put a blank track right there, track 8. Next I go back to setup, and I want to like press play and see. See me change the knob here? So my range is just about right where I want it. So I can change the pitch of that particular sound. I put it back up and down the middle. It's the pitch that I naturally had it at. Okay, now I'm going to record this data onto this particular track. We're going to press main screen. We're going to press active, which is the button right below the Q1 knob. The light comes on green. We're going to press record and play, get our metronome going, and turn the wheel. See, it's recorded right there in the sequence. It's recorded right here in sequence 8. Now I can actually mute that sequence, mute what I just did by pressing the mute button here, and it's back to normal. So record that data on this particular track. That's really cool. Well, now we can do it to another instrument. We're going to maybe change the volume of a different instrument. We're going to press setup, and next thing we're going to do is pick the, let's see, Q-Link 5. We'll select the part, and we're going to assign amplitude so we can control the volume of that particular sound. That's really cool. We're going to probably activate that button below it. It says active on Q-Link 5, where the fader's at, right below the fader. We're going to press main screen, and we're going to pick a new track to record this new data to. But first, I want to turn off the other track first. I want to turn the volume off first on the track 8. So let's mute track 8 first. And the mute is on. See? We're going to mute what we just did, so we don't get too confused. Now we're going to track 9. And on track 9, we're going to record this new amplitude data for the drum sound. We're going to press record and play. See the drums go in and out? Perfect. Now I can actually mute this I just did, mute it. See the drums play straight through the whole track. So what we did here is that we recorded that data from the Q-Link section onto that particular track you want to use. Okay, now we're going to use the Q-Link section to affect our sounds, but this time using note values. First, we're going to go to setup, and we're going to use our fader this time, and we're going to assign it to an actual part. We assigned to part 1. We're going to assign amplitude. Next, we're going to press Q-Link sequence. Now here in sequence, we can either have knobs or we can use the faders, or sliders as it says here. Well, I want to use Q-Link 5. First thing I want to do is probably activate Q-Link 5. I'll put Q-Link 5 on by pressing F5. Good. And then next, what I want to probably do is set up the sequence. I'm going to use sequence 1, as you can see right there, it says loop. And below that I have a step. Now the step sets up my note value and how it affects here from 1 to 16. In this case, I'm going to use eighth notes. Great. Now we're at 1. I'm going to move the slider up, and that volume's going to be that high. I'll move it over now to 3. I want 3 to be high. Move it to 5, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. So you have it alternating up and down, up and down, up and down. Next, we're going to go back to main screen. We're going to activate our Q-Link sequence by pressing the button. And we're going to press play. See it go in and out? Now we can actually go back to Q-Link sequence, and we can change this eighth note. Watch this. So it's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. See that? That's like a DJ there, right there. That's like 130 seconds.